Hello, this is Linda Comeau, and I'm doing some videos with our presenters and today a vendor for the 2015 North American Systemic Constellations Conference. And my guest today is Max Dauskardt of ISCA. He's the chair of ISCA. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Great to talk to you.
Yes, I'm excited also. So I'm going to start with my favorite question. Everybody wants to know how everybody describes constellations to a stranger. Max, please give us your interpretation.
Always different. That's all I can say. It is always different. And when someone kind of asks that question in whatever setting, I'm like being catapulted right into the middle of a constellation. And for that moment, time seems to stop. Now I just see that person, I hear the question, and always something has been preceded the question. And so I have already made some sort of contact with that person, and then I may describe an example, a real life example of what happens. For example, someone comes to me feeling depressed. Okay, and then it turns out that his grandfather or her grandfather, mother's father, was suffering from a very severe accident and was dying a slow, painful death, and the mother was witnessing it while she was 5, 6 years old. So, and while I tell this real life event to that person, of course I stay in touch with the person who asked the question, and then I see, who is it, who frightening or oh, interesting or whatever, and then it goes on. So it's always new, always different, but it's always like a mini constellation. So that's, I think, fair enough to answer the question.
It's amazing also, I find that when you do talk to a stranger, sometimes you actually bring up an example that hits them.
Here we go.
I had that experience yesterday. I was explaining organizational constellations to someone, and they're like, wow, I'm in that situation. And I'm like, oh my God, really? I'm still surprised.
Well, then it's actually the same. Yeah, that's how it is for me, so.
Well, like you said, in the middle of one, it's already happening. It's fabulous.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about ISCA and how it came to be.
Well, ISCA goes back, let's say, roughly 15 years, you could say. That's when the idea of something like ISCA sprung up. And this is connected to the series of big international conferences, which happened, one in 2001, the next, every 2 years it actually happened. 2001, 2003 were big events, 2,000 and more people gathering, people from all over the world. And that's when it really clicked. We need something which holds us together during the period between the conferences. So we need some organization. So that was how it began, and then it took more shape, more and more. A number of people who dedicated a lot of time and energy to developing the idea met again 2005 at the conference then, proceeding with the brainstorming, and then again 2006, sitting together, really putting it to paper and coming up with a draft proposal. Even then it was suggested to call it ISCA, which stands for International Systemic Constellations Association, a long name. Anyway, and this proposal was presented a year later after the 2007 International Conference in Cologne. And there about 80 people from around the world gathered. They were given this draft proposal, and they discussed it, they amended it to some extent, and then unanimously they voted ISCA into existence. So it was a great event, and I was privileged to be part of that event. So I'm sort of, so to speak, a founding member of ISCA. And the first leader of ISCA was elected then, Hunter Beaumont from the United States, but who has been living in Germany and is living in Germany for a great part of his life. So he was very much part of the beginning. And that's really the beginning of ISCA now. So perhaps you want to know specifics about it, or so tell me, what would you like to know more about ISCA?
Okay. Well, I looked over your website. It's very nice.
Oh, thank you.
So the position that ISCA is taking in the constellation world, perhaps tell me about the work that you plan to do.
Okay, good. The position of ISCA. When I thought more about it, I came up with a term. It's the binding agent, or almost the glue that holds the worldwide community of constellation practitioners together, kind of. Particularly in view of the conferences which take place once every 2 years or so. In between, what's in between? There are practitioners doing the work rather isolated in the backwoods, for example, of Australia or other countries, not really feeling a little bit lonely or so. And okay, these days, now with the internet, we are connected, but still, doing the work by themselves. Only once every so often do a number of practitioners actually physically meet. And so to bridge the gaps between these meetings, that is one major aspect of ISCA as far as I see it. So to really give a sense of, yes, I belong to this community. I belong to the many people around the world who love the work, who are doing it, who keep developing it, and so on. So this is very much part of ISCA. What was the second part of your question?
The contribution that to systemic constellations, ISCA's contribution.
Okay. It's connected to that. It is recording or being sort of the holder of the theory to some extent, apart from the many books, of course, that's being written, but to have it all together on our website. You said you had a look at it and so on, which is a very new thing. This website is only active for a couple of months or so. This new board, which only took up its position officially in July this year, so created this website only as a starting point. Now, our emphasis is to invite people, as many practitioners, as many interested people as possible, to contribute, to become part of that. Now, the website being sort of our internet connection, and we totally depend on it, of course. In being geographically separated over the whole planet, we can only keep up our connection by way of the internet. So, and this is just at the beginning of it. And one thing we are in the planning stage of is to organize meetings, real-time meetings, for example, for geographical regions, so the time zone differences don't matter too much. And perhaps aimed at specific groups like students of constellation work, for example, or in different, like a webinar for experienced practitioners or one for trainers and so on, to make much more use of the internet as it has been done so far, so that we really, can only say it again, we use it to the limit. And for that, we need ideas. We need people who are experienced with it, like you are teaching me about Zoom, this wonderful sort of internet invention, which I had never heard about before, and so on. So there are, obviously, we have all these means of communication, and what they are not yet being fully used. So ISCA's role is and place in the constellation work is maybe described by that to a good extent.
Great. And so you're participating in the conference coming up in San Diego. And what do you hope to gain by doing that?
ISCA is participating, and I think you said the key word, or you introduced me as a vendor. Yes, in that sense, I'm the spokesperson of ISCA, the vendor. ISCA has ordered a vendor's table, which will display the flyer. ISCA, the very recently produced flyer for every participant of the conference in San Diego to take home, hopefully to spread the word, to have a look at. And so in that sense, ISCA is offering, and I don't go into the detail of it, no, I invite people to just go to the table at the Bahia Resort and be surprised or get a little bit of a surprise there, to which may help you to get a bit closer to ISCA, let's put it this way.
Okay, good. And I also remember from our chit chat earlier, there's some exciting news coming up. You're not ready to announce it yet, but there's some really good stuff coming.
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, so we won't we won't divulge it right now, Linda, please. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for your time, Max.
But let me just please mention one particular person. It is Dr. Liz Jelinek, who will present at the conference. She is the coordinator of that table now. So I invite every ISCA member who's listening to this now, who will be at the conference, to please get in touch with Liz Jelinek and perhaps assist in being present at the table and making use of that table as a bit of a gathering point, like a rallying point or so. So that was the other sort of reason for having the table there. So ISCA in physical present there.
Okay.
And a member of the board, I have to say that too, Elena Veselaar, who will present at the conference as well. So she will be as well open to be asked and so on. So just those two, I have to let you know. Yes.
Okay. Yes, I sent an email to Elena to interview her, but I didn't get back an answer yet. Anyway, well, thank you very much for your time, Max. I'll just point out that the ISCA website is isca-network.org, and I'll put that in the description. So thank you very much for your time today, Max. I really appreciate it, and look forward to communicating again in the future.
Yes, wonderful, Linda. I'm sure it's likely to happen again. No, you're doing such a great job. Thank you very much on behalf of ISCA.
Thank you, Max. Okay.